All right, my friends, so last week we talked about winter time. Even though it's getting warmer, we're finishing up winter. We talked about cardinals and how they're birds that are found in places where it snows quite often because they don't mind staying in that weather. They don't migrate. This week we're going to give our cardinal a habitat. A habitat is the place, the area where an animal lives. And we're going to use another symbol that's kind of been known for wintertime to do our habitat. But before I get there, let me grab the supplies I need. I need my paper from last week where I drew my cardinal, so make sure you have that. Grab your crayons again. And this week you're also going to need scissors and glue. Go ahead, grab those supplies and we'll get started. All right, so we have our bird from last week that we drew, our cardinal. Remember, we had folded our paper in half. So we drew our cardinal on one side, flip it over, and we're going to start by drawing a habitat or a place for our bird to live on the other side. I'm going to start with this birch tree, which I thought would be kind of fun this week. Birch trees are very bold trees. They're white and they have this black line running across them. In the winter, they lose all their leaves, so they look like a wintertime tree, like you could see them in the snow somewhere. So I thought this would be kind of fun. We do have birch trees in our area, but not a whole lot. So this is something, again, that you might see a little further north than where we live. All right, to start our birch trees, I have my black crayon. All right, take the side of your paper and go 3 fingers over. So I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to start my line at the end of my finger there. I'm going to go from the top to the bottom of my paper, making either a straight or a slightly wavy line. Choice is yours. Birch trees are white, so we don't need to color anything in, but they do have these rings of black around them. And so here's how we're going to do this. We'll just create a pattern with it. We'll do a long line and a short line. A long line and a short line. I'm just starting on the edge of my paper. I'm not going all the way to the side. I'm just going a little over. Long line, short line. Just kind of mimicking that look along the edge of a birch tree. I am curving my line just a tiny bit. I'm not making it completely straight because the tree curves and that just kind of gives me that impression. You could even make a different pattern if you wanted. You could go short, medium, long. Medium, short. Medium, long. Medium, oops, short. Your choice of your pattern. All right, so we've gone all the way down the edge of our birch tree, giving it these little notches of black. Now we're going to add a branch for our bird to sit on. Think for just a moment. If I put my branch up here at the top, I'm not going to have room to glue my bird. And even if I put it in the middle, I'm not sure my bird's going to fit. I need to put my branch down here at the bottom of my paper. So I'm just going to add a line. I'm going to wave mine just a little to the side. And I'm going to add a pattern again of these curved little lines, short, long, just to kind of give it that look of the birch tree. So now I get to color in my sky. We've talked about how the cardinal is a symbol of winter. The birch tree can also be kind of this wintry looking tree. One other thing we can do to look like winter is to make our sky a little darker. In the winter, it's usually darker in the morning and darker in the evening than it is in the summer. The sun comes up and goes down. Our days are a little shorter, our nights are a little longer. So we could do this by adding our colors. Again, if you're using watercolor, this is great. You can switch from your crayon and you can start to watercolor the back. I'm going to be using crayon. But notice in both my examples here that I started with a purple and then I went down and let it fade into a blue. Purple's a little darker color, and here I started with purple and then I let it bump in and fade into my blue as I went down. The reason I did that is because I wanted to give the impression that my sky was dark, but it doesn't all have to be the same shade. A lot of times the top of the sky is darker, and as we get lower it starts to lighten a little. So I could press down a lot with my crayon when I start, and then I could press down less as I go further down. I'm showing that variation in the color of the sky. I'm letting it get lighter as I go down. I'll do this probably with my purple about halfway down my paper. I'm being very careful. I don't want to get anything on my birch tree. I want to be nice and neat and do clean artwork. So I'm being careful that I keep my colors just on the sky part. All right, and now that I've gotten halfway, I'm going to switch to my blue. And I'm going to start a little darker here. I'm actually going to go up with my blue. I'm going to fade these two together. So I'm letting my blue and my purple bump into each other. This works out nicely, because blue and purple are close to each other on the color wheel. They're side by side. So these colors blend together really well. So if I go over my purple a little ways with my blue, see how it's just starting to blend together? This is called gradient, to gradually go from one color to another, from dark to light. All right, and then as I go down further, I'm going to color even lighter. This just adds interest to our sky. It kind of mimics the real sky a little more realistically. All right. There's our background, gradually going from dark to light, from purple to blue. And now when we're done with that, we're ready for our scissors. Remember, you can pause at any time. So if you're still coloring, go ahead and pause and then come back. If you're ready, go ahead and open up your picture. We're going to simply cut our paper in half. And now we have our background and our foreground. This goes in the back. And this is going to go in the front. Oh, I better cut it out first though, huh? All right, I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to hold them straight and I'm going to open and close, turning my paper as I go around the edges. Here's a little hint for you. When you get to the legs, just cut out a big box around them. We'll come back and cut out the legs in just a minute. Just make a box around them. You can leave a little white too. And here I am back on the side. Whoa, I better be careful. Here's the eye. I don't want to cut his eye. I'm going to go around the eye. I'm just turning my paper as I open and close my scissors. Turning my paper again and open, close. All right. Move these out of the way. There's our bird. All right, so down here at the bottom, I'm just going to cut 2 vertical lines beside my legs, my bird's legs, and then I'm going to cut out in between. There we go. Now we've cut it out. It's okay that there's a little white around them. And you get to decide where your bird is going to go on your background. Let's see. I like that it overlaps a little bit on our tree. That looks kind of cool. Grab your glue. If you're using liquid glue, you're going to dot, not a lot. We're going to put the glue on the back of our bird. So if I had liquid glue, I would just be making little dots like this. But with my glue stick, I'm going to make a line. I'm going to outline the edge of my bird because that's the part we need to stick. And I'm going to add him to my background. There we go. Just to help him stick a little more, I like to flip him over and give him a little rub on the back. That just helps the glue to stick and all those little edges to stay down. And there we have it. It would be fun to sign our artwork this time. We don't always get to stop and do that, do we? All right. Oh, I hope I get to see some of yours. If you have a moment, please send me a picture of your finished cardinal, your wintertime bird. We're about to usher in spring, so this will be our one last hurrah for winter. I hope that you guys had fun drawing this. If you have time, check a look at some of more of Charlie Harper's work. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll see you guys again next week.